when you are solving one-step equations, you look for your variable and look for the number that's on the same side as the variable, and then do the inverse operation. So for the first one, I have 8 equals n minus 8. My variable is n, and I'm subtracting 8 from n. So the inverse operation of subtracting is to add. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. When I add 8 on the same side as my variable, it cancels out, it zeroes out that minus 8 and leaves me with n. And that's the whole purpose of doing the inverse operation, is so you get the variable by itself. What you do on one side, you have to do on the other side. So on the left side, 8 plus 8 is 16, so my answer is 16. And I can try that, I can test that to make sure that it's accurate by plugging it back in for where I see n. 16 minus 8 is 8, and 8 equals 8. 5 equals s plus 10. My variable is s. I'm adding 10 to the s, so I have to do the opposite of that. The opposite of adding 10 is subtracting 10. I'm doing this because 10 minus 10 is 0, and that leaves me with s on that side. What I do on this side, I have to also do on this side. So now I have 5 minus 10. We know from our integer rules that anytime you subtract, you have to do additive inverse. Keep your first number, change subtraction to addition, take the opposite of the second number. My signs are different, so now I subtract. 10 minus 5 is 5, and my bigger number is negative, so my answer is negative. I can check that by plugging it in. Negative 5 plus 10. My signs are different, so I subtract. 5 equals 5, so I know I got it correct. But my answer, all I'm doing right here is just checking, plugging it back in and checking to make sure that it's right. My actual answer is what I did over here, the negative 5. That's my answer. Negative 6 plus h equals 12. So my variable is h. I have to get rid of that negative 6. The opposite of negative 6 is positive 6. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. That leaves me with h. And 12 plus 6 is 18. H equals 18. Negative 20 equals k minus 7. My variable is k. I'm subtracting 7 on that side of the equation. So to get rid of that minus 7, I'm going to have to add 7. That way they cancel each other out, and it leaves me with k. What I do on this side, I have to do on this side. Negative 20 plus 7. My signs are different. Different signs subtract. 20 minus 7 is 13. My bigger number is negative, so my answer is negative 13. All right, number 5, 11 equals t minus 13. My variable is t. I'm subtracting 13 from t, so the inverse of that is going to be to add 13. That cancels out my 13 and leaves me with t. 11 plus 13 is 24, so t equals 24. Negative 5 plus p equals negative 14. My variable is p. So I'm going to do the opposite of negative 5 to get rid of that. I'm going to add 5. The negative 5 cancels out, leaves me with p. Negative 14 plus 5, my signs are different, so I subtract. 14 minus 5 is 9. My bigger number is negative, so my answer is negative. 4 equals negative 9 plus g. My variable is g. On that side of the equal sign, I have a negative 9, so I need to get rid of this negative 9 by adding 9. Those cancel out and leaves me with g. What I do on one side, I have to do on the other side. 9 plus 4 is 13. Negative 14 equals y minus 6. If I'm subtracting, then the inverse is going to be to add 6 to both sides. These cancel out and leaves me with y. Negative 14 plus 6. My signs are different, so I subtract. 14 minus 6 is 8. My bigger number is negative, so my answer is negative 8. All right, when you're multiplying and dividing one-step equations, when you have this line, that means this is a division problem. So we're going to do the inverse operation, which means we're going to multiply. 7 equals b divided by 11. So we're going to multiply by 11 on both sides. These 11s cancel each other out. 11 times 7 is 77. So that is our answer. Negative 105 equals negative 5g. When you have a coefficient in front of your variable, that means you're multiplying. So the inverse of multiplying is to divide by negative 5. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 5 will go into 10 2 times. 5 will go into 5 1 time. So our answer is 21. 72 equals negative 18h. 18h means we're multiplying. So the opposite of that would be to divide by negative 18. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. And 72 divided by 18 is 4. So h is negative 4. Negative 16 equals k divided by 7. So we're going to multiply by 7 on both sides. A positive times a negative is a negative. 16 times 7. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 plus 4 is 11. Negative 112 is k. Negative 9 equals n divided by negative 19. So, the inverse of dividing is multiplying. We're going to multiply by negative 19 on both sides. 19 times 9. 9 times 9 is 81. 9 plus 8 is 17. A negative times a negative is a positive. So n is 171. Negative 900 equals 10a. So we're going to divide by 10 on both sides. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. 900 divided by 10 is 90. So a is negative 90. 126 equals 7t. We're multiplying, so the inverse of multiplying is going to be to divide by 7. Bottom number goes outside the house. 7 will go into 12 one time, with 5 left over. Bring down your 6. 7 will go into 56 8 times. So t is 18. 35 equals b divided by negative 6. So I'm going to multiply by negative 6. A negative times a positive is a negative. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 plus 3 is 21. Negative 210 is v.